For me, I approached it basically within the script, because this project for me wasn't about Ava Gardner. It was about Madrid, the people of Madrid, the Franco regime, and she's like a moving chess piece to me. So although she represents liberation, freedom, and bringing a certain excitement to Madrid, for me, it was kind of difficult because I have never wanted to play like a Hollywood icon. But because the people that are going to see this series, especially in South America and in Spain, they don't know much about Ava Gardner. The only reason I knew about Ava Gardner is because I actually met Frank Sinatra, who grabbed me and said, "Wow, you remind me of my Ava," and he gave me a hug, and I'm like, wow. So I read a biography on her, and she wasn't a great actress early in her career, so some of the movies I'd seen her in I used to watch TV with my grandmother, because we had a black and white TV back in the day, and we'd watch all the classics. And it was kind of like, yeah, whatever, but when she did Night of the Iguana, I thought that was her ultimate acting performance. So for me, what was difficult about portraying her in this show is I'm physically not like her. I don't think I look like her. But I wasn't as worried about that because I was more wanting to humanize her because she was such an interesting person. She was an intellectual, she loved culture, she broke rules, she didn't follow rules. Like, she was having affairs with black men back in the day, she traveled, she loved life. I read that Chavela was one of her lovers one evening. She was like, kind of ahead of her time, and she just was over Hollywood, and I can relate to that as well. I've moved away myself. But what was difficult for me was the acting in Spanish. I speak Italian, but I would keep on mixing Italian and Spanish together, and I had to learn how to speak Castilian. Because I grew up in New York, so we hear Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican, so it's a very different accent. It's much quicker. I wouldn't say quicker, but it's just different. So that was challenging, and also I've got a very strong New York accent, and I had to lose my New York accent completely, which I hear a little bit of in some scenes, I have to say. But so I was working on 2 accents, not just one, in another language, in another country. But to me, it was a real gift. She didn't speak good Spanish either, but for me, like I like to talk, so I want to communicate in Spanish, and a lot of Spaniards don't speak English. Okay. Yeah. Paco is a very special person in terms of directing, so it worked out. It was one of the most greatest experiences I ever had.
In my case, with Bill Gallagher, it was great that. I think she had it a lot more challenging because I didn't have a reference. There wasn't much information on Bill Gallagher. He was a character, he did exist, but I didn't have that much information, so I was kind of free to do it in my own way. And I loved Paco because he let me be part of the process I got to choose some of my clothing, I got to choose the glasses.
Great.
He had a straight line, he knew what he wanted, but inside of that I got to choose a little bit. And as far as I brought my own life experiences as well because, I had already been to Spain. So I knew what Bill might encounter here. And also my husband is, a famous artist here in Spain. And so he is kind of an Ava Gardner in a lot of ways too. His spirit
I love it.
And I work a lot with him and I help him a lot. And I make reservations and carry his agenda and help him with a lot of social media stuff. So that all kind of, I think, subconsciously I've got that inside of me, and just I've taking pictures of fans. So all of that I think helped with the character and bringing it to the character of Bill Gallagher as well. So. Mm-hmm. I did go back and I saw a lot of little clips of, I didn't see the whole movie, but I did see a bunch of clips of movies from that time period of Ava Gardner, and I did read a biography as well. And I saw a documentary, Paco told me to read. Oh, and we saw the show Feud. I don't know if you've seen the movie or the series on HBO called Feud.
Of course, I love it. Of course, Mamacita, Mamacita.
They're great.
I love it.
And that was a
It's
reference,
amazing.
my character is, part of it's the Mamacita character. It was cool, no, because with Carmen Sevilla, we met the daughter of, what's the Duquesa de
So Eugenia, you know, she's the Duchess of
But I think
Alba's
Ana and
daughter.
Paco, they were more on the investigating that time period and using people from that time period. That was more.
I think I grew up watching all these movies with my grandmother, so this whole creation. What's amazing about it is that Paco has an ability to make it between the cinematography and the casting, and the way that he brings a performance out of people. He makes it so natural that it's better than when you watch those old movies, because they're so campy usually and over the top or tongue in cheek. This is to a degree as well in this, but it's deeper because it's very psychological and raw. The performances. Mariola, who plays Lola Flores, she said, and she's not here today, but she said it was one of the most difficult roles of her life, because in this one performance she has to sing one of her songs, and Lola was considered a goddess, you know, so she brought the house down with one of her performances. It was quite amazing. No. They take too long. I go to Ibolo and Paella. I don't even know where to go here. I didn't have a lot of time to go out to eat, believe it or not. Like, I was working every day because they had to get me out for my next project. So I would have like one night a week to go out, maybe like a Saturday and a Sunday. But I hit all the places in terms of culinary. And I went back to New York. I bought a cookbook, and I didn't have time, but like I started to try. I made tortilla española, and I was so disappointed because it didn't come out like.
It doesn't. I don't know why, but like you do it here and it
well,
works.
Anna,
you do it there, and it's the same ingredients, but it just doesn't.
Mine didn't come out, and I was so proud. I was gonna. And Ana Costa, she made it for me, and Paco made me gazpacho. It's the best. So I went back home. I made the gazpacho, but my kids didn't like it. I put too much garlic, and because I love garlic. But yeah, no. I mean, I love the food here. It's part of your culture. And then I went to San Sebastian and had another experience with Basque food. It's just like,
oh, it's fantastic.
It brought me to my knees. The
I've never
seafood.
had such great tomatoes. Just a tomato.
Amazing.
Wow.
You taste the ocean in the food.
Yeah, like Mohammed.
Yeah. I don't like Mahama. Mahama is like
Salty.
it's like cat food.
Yeah.
I'm not eating Mahama. I'll give it to my cat. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So nice.